Very special day. We are celebrating the birth of the grandson of the Holy Prophet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We are celebrating the birth of the son of the one who lifted the gate of Khaybar with one hand. We are celebrating the birth of the greatest, or the son of the greatest woman who has ever lived in the history of mankind, the brother of Imam Al-Hussein alayhi salam. We are celebrating the birth of Kareem Ahl al-Bayt, Imam Hasan ibn Ali al-Mushtaba alayhi salam. As mentioned, it is my honor, and we have an amazing opportunity for you all tonight, inshallah, to be able to be part of a very unique chance to donate to Imam Hussein TV in a couple of ways that we'll go into very shortly. Of course, this is Imam Hussein TV 3, as you are all aware. And of course, it was many thousands of years ago where Imam Hussein alayhi salam stood on the plains of Karbala and shouted, "Hal min nasirin yunsurna," a call for help that was a timeless call for help, that knew no bounds to time, that was for every generation, for every age, for men, for women, for kids, for youngers and olders, black or white, it does not matter. And tonight, inshallah, we have the ability, and we are giving you the opportunity to be part of that call, to answer the call of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And we're going to do so very briefly. I'll explain before we welcome my esteemed guest in two ways. First and foremost, option one, and the opportunity one I would call it rather, is a chance to support the channel's operations, we can say. So, package one, and inshallah we'll get to this very shortly in terms of pricing, but package one is an opportunity to sponsor a live feed from the holy shrines of Karbala. Package two, and inshallah, as I mentioned, write these down, whichever one takes your pick, inshallah, and we'll go into the pricing very shortly. Package two, you have the ability to sponsor a live majlis. Not only a live majlis for Abu Abdullah, a live majlis from the holy land of Karbala, also, and the ability to do so in the name of your marhumin. And package three is you are able to sponsor a documentary, to not only facilitate a documentary that can teach and provide the learnings of the Ahlul Bayt, but also can carry on for years and years to provide this ilm, inshallah, to our community. And this, inshallah, if you've seen, for example, our dear brother Al-Hajj Mustafa Mas'ud Abalujain, who had the documentary very recently about Masjid al-Sahla, as a great example of a documentary. That's option one. Option two, and you've seen the adverts, I'm sure, brothers and sisters, is Imam Hussein TV is embarking on a massive task to create a new building by the shrine, the holy shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And as we know, there are many floors to this building. We're going to go into it in a bit more detail later on. But part of the opportunity today is to be involved in this sadaqah jariyah. So option number one and package number one is to actually be responsible for the fees or for a full day of one of the construction workers on this site. Package number two is a purchase of an actual AC unit to be part of the building. And package number three is to be responsible. Again, what a beautiful opportunity for the sadaqah jariyah in a studio where there is constant remembrance of Imam Hussein alayhi salam and constant service to the Ahlul Bayt. You will be able to donate, inshallah, tonight to be responsible for 2 squared meters of that building. So, in front of you now, you can see a range of numbers, a number of ways that you're able to contact us. Please get in touch, inshallah. In the meantime, it is my absolute honor to welcome a dear friend of mine who I've known for many years. One of my role models, in fact, the esteemed guest, inshallah, for tonight is Dr. Sayyid Ammar Nakshawani. Assalamu alaikum, Sayyidina.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you, dear Sayyid?
I'm good. I wish I had a bit more time for iftar.
Allah
and these guys rushed us.
No doubt.
I suppose for a good cause.
Alhamdulillah. For the brothers and sisters.
I'm hoping my stomach holds up.
I'm hoping so. But if not, Sayyidina, tell me I've got an earpiece, we'll call for a break, definitely.
Fantastic.
But so the brothers and sisters know Sayyid Ammar, God bless you, literally from Futur table to the studio in something like 10 minutes. Thank you so much. It's our honor for you to be joining us tonight, Sayyidina.
No, alhamdulillah, you introduced it wonderfully. You introduced this campaign wonderfully. The viewers out there worldwide have been really the basis of the success of this channel. As in, apart from the obvious blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the viewers worldwide continuously have been, generous in their donations, generous in sending their questions, generous in sending their comments. You've seen many of our shows in the past when we used to have Monday night live shows, question answer sessions.
Yeah.
And what I love about this team that they have here, I call it a team. Specifically because, everyone's got great relations with each other, great banter with each other. So you all want to push yourself to do well. I know that a lot of the viewers have not seen behind the scenes the amount of hard work that goes on, the amount of mistakes. I mean, sorry, good work. that is, really continuing with a group of youths who have given from their own time.
Absolutely.
So inshallah tonight, as you said, it's a blessed occasion. We wish we were in Medina.
No doubt.
But I suppose Northwest London's a good replacement. And
yeah, it will suffice.
Let's see how it goes.
Sayyidina, you touched upon a beautiful point, which is the array of different programs that Imam Hussein TV 3 caters for in the English language. And I wanted, before we get onto the whole donation, I know that the brothers and sisters at home are itching and their wallets are trying to burst out of the pocket, so they're ready, inshallah. But before we do, I wanted to just touch upon the Tafsir Quran series that you're doing at the moment, because the topics that you're bringing in, kind of involved with the Quran, very topical, of course, and very important for our community as well. But I'd just like to talk about maybe a little bit about what was the inspiration behind such a series, Sayyidina.
Well, a few months ago when we had done the tafsir of the surah by surah, if you remember, we take a surah and another surah and Juz' Amma, and we go through them one by one.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were saying to me that really built their relationship with the Quran. And I thought, predominantly we'd have a lecture series on the Mambar. I thought this year that, a bit more of an interactive style. It's Shahr Ramadan, it's the Quran's month of the Quran, and I just thought, well, let's delve into certain topics which I believe that people don't appreciate are discussed in the Quran. Because there is the accusation sometimes that the Quran is this text which is only meant for a particular period, doesn't relate to our lives, and yet you see the topics that we've chosen. I don't think anyone ever assumed that those topics could be found in the Quran.
Absolutely.
And there's so many more verses which we could really look at, and inshallah in the next couple of weeks or so, you'll see many interesting topics. So I was just feeling that, a nice interactive style with the audience, making them feel like it's a dialogue rather than a monologue. Would be successful. And alhamdulillah, it's been great.
Alhamdulillah, absolutely. So for the brothers and sisters that aren't aware, and I'm sure you are already, but the program Tafsir in the Quran with Dr. Sayyid Ammar Nakshawani runs every single day at 7:15. So inshallah, tune in. And Sayyid, by the way, just as a side note before we move on, a phenomenal point, because although this month is the holy month of the Quran, I think there's a bit of I'd say ambiguity as to exactly what that means for some people. So sometimes there'll be brothers and sisters that are reading the Quran and kind of racing through the pages, and they'll get to the end of the month and they'll have achieved a khatma of the Quran or a completion of the Quran, but the relationship with the Quran in particular with current issues doesn't really match up. So it's a lovely point that you mentioned.
Yeah, so the Quran always will remind us with verses about tadabbur. Ponder, reflect. It's great if someone can recite from cover to cover. But as I said, you don't want to fall in the trap of previous nations who had the Torah, for example, and ended up carrying it like the way the donkey carries luggage. So this hopefully is the kickstart, I think, for a lot of people's relationship with the Holy Quran, inshallah.
Inshallah. Sayyidina, just on the point of the Holy Quran, I'm going to draw a weird comparison right now. But the other day on social media, and I'm sure some of the brothers and sisters may have seen this, there was a video from one of the greatest footballers that's ever lived, Cristiano Ronaldo, who you know and you're fully aware of, was very successful. MashaAllah.
Great Madrid player he was.
The other, no doubt, and the other day, Sayyidina, you attributed one of the greatest leaders of the footballing era to Alex Ferguson, and of course he had a great relationship with Cristiano Ronaldo as well.
One of the.
Ahsant, one of the, exactly. But interestingly, he had a video on social media the other day that said, from when he was a young kid, he was taught that when he gives, you get back, right? And he mentioned something that, and kind of he used a particular number. He said that when you give, you get double back. That was his point. So I took it upon myself to tag Cristiano Ronaldo and to let him know that in the Quran there's a particular ayah that also has a numerical value. But it's
Fantastic.
More than double. He obviously didn't share my post.
Didn't he share?
Unfortunately, I don't think he knew that I know Sayyid Ammar Nakshawani, so he wasn't really...
Next time,
Inshallah.
put my name in, you'll see what happens.
Inshallah. So Sayyid, I guess just to start with, I'd like to ask like a kind of a double-pronged question. From your experience, based on that, maybe an introduction to that Quranic ayah about giving and how much you get in return, and also from your experience, tell us a bit more about that and how does that actually work? You give, how much do you get in return? Have you seen that in action yourself?
I think first and foremost, the person shouldn't be giving with the expectation that I have to get back, because then it becomes a tit-for-tat relationship. There are many who, when they donate not because of the cause. Rather, they donate because it launders their sins.
Right.
You know how you have money laundering?
Yeah.
You have sin laundering.
Lovely.
Money laundering is you washing away money in a certain way, let's say, or drying it or cleaning it. And sin laundering, you'll see some of the wealthiest people in the world love to donate because at certain times, it cleans their money.
Right.
Intention, first and foremost, when we're looking at what we're doing tonight with Imam Hussein TV, is that, Ya Allah, in honor of what you've showered me with, I want to try and shower others with, meaning that when my Lord has showered me with so many blessings, and there are people who are less fortunate than us in the world, then we want to help them as well. Ya Allah, in honor of how Imam Al-Hussein alayhi salam gave so much away so that I became who I became today, then Ya Allah, I want to give back towards anything associated with Imam Al-Hussein alayhi salam. How that multiplies by 10, multiplies by 2, multiplies by 70, multiplies by 1,000, I can show you a narration for each of these.
Wow.
But we don't want to work in a world as mathematicians here, because then you fall in that trap of that famous person who once said, when they saw him stealing in the market, and then what he stole he gave to the poor. So they said to him, what are you doing? He said, why, what's wrong? They said, we just saw you steal, for example, 4 veggies and give them to 4 poor people. He goes, no, I'm on plus 36. So the person said to him, what do you mean? He said to him, well, I heard if you do a good deed, it's multiplied by 10.
That's it.
And if you do a bad deed, it's multiplied by 1.
Right.
So I'm on plus 36 because I made sure that I stole, and then I gave to the poor. So the first lesson that I think we learn when it comes to donation is don't work with this mathematical equation.
Right.
Rather, try and have this intention that, my Lord, you've blessed me, and I want to give back. Secondly, it's a form of purification for us, honestly, because the world that we live in can easily drag us into forgetting the needs of others. And in some cases, drag us into a stage where we forget what Ahlul Bayt salawatullah wa salamu alayhim did for us. There are people who go the whole year without donating at all for any majlis. The whole year. These majalis that you're donating for, these programs you donate for, when it comes to Imam Al-Hussein alayhi salam, a lot of these are, in a way, your reciprocal love, known in Arabic as mawadda,
Right.
back to those who displayed love for you when they would constantly talk to the Lord and say, my Lord, my Shia, my Shia. My Lord, my followers, my followers. My Lord, will you raise a nation who will honor Sayyid al-Shuhada and his stand at Karbala? What I'm doing when I give back is a form of reciprocal love. And that's why how many times you hear in the majalis when the Prophet, peace be upon him, his family, would be the only prophet in the Quran who asks for recompense. Every other prophet was saying, oh, my recompense is with my Lord, my recompense is with my Lord, except the Holy Prophet, peace be upon his family, who said, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. I do not ask from you anything. And who's telling him? Allah's telling him, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. In other words, there's a command coming from the Lord that there has to be a reciprocal love Because if it was قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْحُبْ, for example,
Right.
لِلْأَقْرِبَاء or whatever, then a person will say, okay, I love them, I don't know how much they loved me. But
One-sided,
mawadda is that they actually, there's a reciprocal love. That's why the ayah on marriage
Right.
has the word mawadda.
Ahsan.
Because if that reciprocal love is not there, there is some, what's it called? I used to remember studying at school when we'd study Shakespeare about, there's one-sided love,
Right.
there's unrequited love,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it was called.
yeah.
And there's two-sided love, mawadda, reciprocal love. In the verse about marriage, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. That mawadda, that reciprocal love which exists in marriage, my love for Al Muhammad must be many times more than even my love for my dearest and nearest. Hence in the ziyarah literature, we say, بِأَبِي أَنْتَ وَأُمِّي. So what we're doing with charity is that firstly, our intention is purified. Secondly, that we are giving back without expectation that something good happens to us or that we're going to get rewarded for it. And thirdly, fundamentally, that how honored we are that God has given us a chance to give back to the cause of the religion of Islam. It's a huge honor.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, as in some people will look at giving and they'll be like, why do you always ask me? Others will look at and say, thank you, Allah. Another step you've given me to enter Jannah.
Wow.
And you've got your show, of course. What's it called?
7 Steps to Heaven, Sayyid.
7 Steps to Heaven.
Yeah.
Which we're really enjoying, you and Yasser performing amazingly. And so this is a huge honor, the chance to sponsor, you know, a majlis, to sponsor a documentary.
Yeah.
A person shouldn't look at these things and say, oh, I have to give charity again. But rather, is this another door you're opening for me to gain closeness to Ahlul Bayt? Wow, thank you so much. You know, in Risalat al-Huquq, Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam talks about the right of the mu'adhin.
Right.
The mu'adhin is the one who calls you to pray. You have to have the highest respect for him because he's calling you towards an act that is so blessed and gets you close to Allah. You have to have such a high respect for him.
Wow.
So likewise, when we are asking people to donate, in a way, the person who listens, this is a great moment for them.
Absolutely.
Really, because
Absolutely.
it's a moment where it's like, am I blessed again that I'm sitting here and I'm able to help the cause? Amazing.
This is what essentially tawfiq is.
No doubt.
Basically.
No
Fantastic. And actually, I've just been told as well, Sayyidina, that for the first, I think it's 10, correct me if I'm wrong, beautiful AV team, but for the first 10 donators, there is also exclusive to Imam Hussein TV 3, any donation above the value of £500, which in the grand scheme of things, Sayyidina, nowadays, what are we talking about £500 getting you? In all honesty, it's not a massive investment. So there were 10 flags. I've just been told that 4 people have already, mashallah, donated for a value of above £500. So first of all, on that note, Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So to get to the point, any donation above the value of £500 gets a flag directly from Karbala, a flag of Imam Hussein alayhi salam that has got the blessings of the shrine on it as well.
Amazing.
So of course, as you're saying, Sayyidina, we don't donate for something in return, but as a token and a gesture, it's a lovely thing to have get your hands on as well, right?
Yeah, it's amazing, you know. As I said, you know, something like the alam, which we see in Karbala, that, you know, when it's at home, it reminds you of Karbala. Reminds you of the stand and the principles of Imam Hussein alayhi salam.
Yeah.
So, you know, congratulations to everyone out
Absolutely,
there.
absolutely. And by the way, for the brothers and sisters that are thinking about a donation and thinking, you know, £500 maybe is a stretch a bit too far for me. I'm sure, Sayyidina, we'll come on to you in a second for some examples of this. But no donation is too large or too small. It doesn't work like that. In particular, when you're giving for the cause of Imam Hussein alayhi salam and in the name of his brother Imam Hasan alayhi salam, who, as we said, is known as Kareem Ahlul Bayt, Sayyidina. And of course, that doesn't mean that the rest of the Ahlul Bayt are not Karama, no doubt. But there's a particular association with Imam Hasan alayhi salam and generosity. Where did that kind of evolve from?
You're right in saying that, you know, just because the word Kareem is associated with him, you know, we could go to the Jood of Imam Al-Jawad alayhi salam.
Yeah.
And we could go to Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam's freeing of so many slaves. So each and every one of them, they're a family which is the most generous. You know, there is none like them in terms of generosity, as was seen in the Quran. And he really learns this at a young age from his mom and dad, in all honesty. You know, his mother and his father, when they done that nidhr to fast. Because Imam Al-Hasan and Imam Al-Hussein were feeling unwell, and there was that famous fast that was done. And on the first day that they're breaking their fast, a needy person comes to their door. And when he comes to their door, he's asking. And remember, Imam Al-Hasan, on the revelation of this ayah, you'd find that Imam Al-Hasan is, you know, let's say 5 years old. And he witnesses that his parents, although hungry, and يطعمون الطعام على حبه, some say they give away food out of love for their Lord. But it could also be they give away food although they love that food.
Wow.
They, you know, who doesn't love food when you break your fast like we just did?
Yeah.
You saw like it was just suddenly an absolute, you know, avalanche of people jumping on the food. They, you know, everyone wants to break their fast and eat. And he sees that miskeen asking from the door of his parents, and it has an effect on him. And he's wondering, is this going to happen again the next day? And the next day, you've got this orphan who knocks at the door. Again, they've timed it well. Either these Arabs were, they were in Klauchia who knew that, listen, at that time, that's the yard where you want to go and munch. We've had people like that in our time.
We have.
Yeah, where you're like, every day at lunch, this guy's here. Or every day at about 7:30, it's like, you know, I was just walking past.
Right.
And for some reason, he's munched all the
Perfect
food.
timing.
So the yatim, and then of course the captive. And the verse is revealed in Surah Al-Insan, وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ لَا نُرِيدُ مِنْكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شُكُورًا. In 2 ayahs, the whole meaning of giving. Firstly, we give away, the intention is always the Lord. It doesn't matter if it's a Muslim, non-Muslim. And then secondly, we give it for the sake of our Lord, and we don't need reward from anyone.
Right. Oh, thanks.
Or do we need anyone to thank us? Some of us, as human beings, we would appreciate if there was some people thanking us.
Right.
That, you know what, mashallah, so-and-so gave, but for them, no. لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا. When you grow up in a house like that,
Right.
then what do you expect from such a person? But I remember once when someone asked him, and I love the way he breaks things down, because there's a time when someone asked him about, you give to the orphan, you give to the needy, you give to the widow. You see, when we're trying to help people in the land of Iraq, for example, as you could see, there are needy, there are orphans, there are widows. They told him, why do you never repel one who's begged you for a donation?
Right.
He said, because I'll be ashamed of myself that I'm in need of my Lord. How can I repel someone when they beg me?
Wow.
It's huge.
Beautiful.
Because here I am in need of my Lord, in need of my Lord's blessings. I beg my Lord. How can I repel a beggar when he comes to me? And really what we're doing when we're sitting here in the holy month of Ramadan is we're begging the people at home. I don't mind.
Absolutely.
For Al Muhammad, salawatullah wa salamu alayhim, I'd be, you know, just to be associated with them, it's worth it.
Absolutely.
It's worth it. You know, I want to call myself a beggar at the door. Others call themselves dogs at the door of this line of Ibrahim alayhi salam that was the purest line. We're begging everyone at home that their support allows us to continue to have lectures that they're seeing, programs that they're seeing, employ staff.
Well, the beautiful thing, Sayyidina, as well, is that I think in this particular time, with the pandemic and the fact that, you know, we are in such a difficult position where ziyarah has become very difficult for us as well. And going to see the Mawla, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and the rest of the Shuhada and Karbala is even more difficult now. it's not just about the shows that we are watching, but also the fact that we're part of this message, right? And we're propagating it as well. I've been told, by the way, brothers and sisters, that you are free to call in, inshallah, as well, which should be good, inshallah. So
yeah, we look forward to it. Why not?
Anyone wants to call in and say any words about Imam Hussein TV, we're welcoming live. And in fact, you know, we are in need, the channel is in need, so we are opening our hands and asking as well to say, inshallah, that there is an opportunity for you to donate live on TV. The number, if I'm not mistaken, is 0203 515 0199. It's on your screen at the top, or you can call via WhatsApp.
Yeah, now, and I was saying that, you know, I think also the fact that his father decided that because of the difficulties the Muslims had seen with the economic policy of the leadership before him and the government before him, his father decided that, listen, I'm going to have to live like the poorest in the land of Kufa, because how can I be a leader and I don't feel what my people are feeling?
Absolutely.
When therefore a person would come to Imam Ali alayhi salam and be like, hold on a minute, I wanted to munch, and you've got dry bread there in front of you. That's why Imam Al-Hasan's generosity came to the fore, because he'd be like, don't worry, come with me. Or Imam Ali would say, I apologize about this, there's someone down the road there, he'll go out of his way.
Wow.
And I think that's where Imam Al-Hasan comes to the fore, because when his father's alive, because his father's living this lifestyle of zuhud, which is extremely difficult to get to, where it's like, well, if the poorest person in Medina's got a hole in his shirt, then I have to have one.
Wow.
Otherwise, what am I doing leading? How can I be an imam of the people? How can I be khalifa of the people if I am not feeling what the people are feeling? So his generosity comes to the fore, because then Imam would say, listen, go down the road, that house there, enter it. He isn't the imam of the time. You go to him and he'll make sure that you'll see generosity beyond belief.
Wow, subhanallah. I've been told, brothers and sisters, that we have our first caller. If I'm not mistaken, our first caller, his name is Brother Abbas, and he is a tender age. I didn't catch it, but he's calling from London. Assalamu alaikum, Abbas. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Hello, dear Brother Abbas. Tell us your age and where are you calling from?
Calling from London.
MashaAllah. And how old are you, Abbas?
I'm currently 12 years old.
MashaAllah. Al-Amr Kullah, inshallah. Lovely for you to call in, Abbas. And yeah, you've got the line. So what is it that you want to say? Please go ahead. Bismillah.
So right now I've donated £50 from my own pocket money.
MashaAllah.
To thank Imam Hussein for being there and supporting us while we're all down.
MashaAllah.
MashaAllah. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you, Abbas. Thank you so much. And inshallah, this £50 will be returned to you in this life and the next. And inshallah, you'll be with Imam Hussein alayhi salam, ziyarah in this life and his shafa'ah in the next. Brother Abbas, thank you so much. Brothers and sisters, we're going to go very quickly for a small interlude, 2-minute break, inshallah. And we'll be back with myself, Dr. Sayyid Ammar Nakshawani, and inshallah some more esteemed guests to follow. And we'll see you soon.
Karbala, once a barren land, a land once uninhabited. Yet today millions assemble and congregate in it. But why? A holy trail left from Medina and mark the journey of oblation, submission and sacrifice. The focal point of hearts set a journey towards this land. Imam Hussein TV is excited and honored to be inviting you to an opportunity like no other. For many of you who have visited Karbala, you would have seen the building works around the front of Imam Hussein's shrine. The Haram is now expanding, and currently Tell al-Zainabiyya Sanctorium is being recreated. With the new plans and developments, Imam Hussein Media Group is relocating to the Dar as-Sajjad building on Qibla Street, one of the main roads that leads to the front of the holy shrines of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Our building will only be 150 meters away from the holy shrine of Aba Abdullah. This new building is to be the new headquarters for the Imam Hussein Media Group, taking up 200 square meters. The purchase of just the land alone in 2012 was a total of over $2.2 million. The 11-story building overlooks the holy sites of the sacred tents of Imam Al-Hussein, Bayn al-Haramain, and the two holy domes of Imam Hussein and his brother Abu Fadl al-Abbas alayhum salam. The building will consist of 11 floors and a basement. The basement will be dedicated to serving the blessed pilgrims visiting the holy city of Karbala and will hold an equipment storage and repair facility. The ground floor of the building will hold a Husainiyya, which will be open all year round to hold majalis and celebrations. The first floor will have a built-in amphitheatre seating 200 people. It will be used to premiere certain shows and documentaries, as well as hosting international conferences and seminars. The second floor will hold an equipment storage and repair facility. The third floor will host our Farsi channel, Imam Hussein TV 1. The channel requires office space, meeting rooms, as well as editorial suites to create new material for your viewing. The fourth floor will host our Arabic channel, Imam Hussein TV 2. The fifth floor will host our English channel and our Urdu channel. This is where all post-production will happen. The sixth floor will host our Azawi channel, Az-Zahra TV, and our news channel, Shia Waves News. The channels require office space, meeting rooms, as well as editorial suites to help plan, create, and manage different stages of production to bring you the latest news affecting the Shia community globally. The 7th and 8th floors will be split into two parts. The majority of both floors will be home to the Al-Mukhayyam studios. This space will hold two visual studios overlooking the holy shrines and will be used to have live broadcasts and pre-recorded filming sets. A small section of the double-floored studio will be the control room, which is where the technicians record, mix, edit and televise live broadcasting. The 9th and 10th floors will also be split into two parts. The majority of these floors will be home to the Bab al-Qibla studios. This large-sized studio will include window backdrops showing the holy shrines of Imam Hussein and Abu Fadl al-Abbas alayhum salam. This will be used by all channels when holding ziyarah and special programs to celebrate or commemorate the Ahlul Bayt. A small section of the double-floored studio will be the control room, which will also be used for technicians to record, mix, edit and televise live broadcasting. Here's where you can help. Many of us make investments for the future to see a return. Our hereafter is our real future. And here is an investment opportunity like no other. It's costing Imam Hussein Media Group $700 per square meter to construct and decorate the building. The $700 will account for cement to bricks, from iron beams to cabling, and even plastering, painting and tiling. You can donate to our project and receive blessings and rewards with every single second any production is being created in this building. Whether we are script writing, filming, editing or broadcasting a live show on the day of Arba'een, your donation will raise blessings and rewards for the hereafter. But I'm sure you're asking yourselves, why do we need such a building? Since its inception, Imam Hussein Media Group has grown to a multilingual and internationally recognized station. Our sole duty is to provide an interactive platform to teach people the message of the Ahlul Bayt. The new building will give each channel their own space and equipment to work effectively and efficiently. With more space, each department will have ample time and freedom to be able to create more interesting and valuable content to bring you all closer to the Ahlul Bayt. In today's world, falsehood is abundant, and through Imam Hussein TV, we have the ability to show people the truth. It was once the wealth of Sayyidah Khadija that pushed forward the message of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. And today, we ask you to help us push the message of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. All that is required is just over $900,000 to finalize the total project. And with so many lovers of Imam Hussein, and with so many contributions from these lovers, we are sure we can reach our goal. Invest in the future of your community. Invest in your afterlife. And invest in the legacy of your Imam. Imam Hussein TV, your gateway to Karbala.
My dear brothers and sisters, welcome back. And during that short break, you would have seen the clip about the building that is going to be built and developed in the holy land of Karbala alayhi salam by the shrines, the holy shrines of Imam Al-Hussein and his brother Abu Fadl Abbas alayhi salam. And just a couple of facts as well that was given by the team that I'd like to just mention very, very briefly. That not only are you contributing to a building that is going to be constantly churning out numbers of different programs, ziyarat. As a side note, there is actually a Husainiyya as part of the building as well. The reason behind me saying this, brothers and sisters, is that what you're contributing to isn't a normal kind of run-of-the-mill studio, in all honesty. What you're contributing to is a network. I think, a lot of organizations have the word channel. Of course, this is the channel of Imam Hussein TV 3. But there, the building is part of a network. And that means that you're contributing not only to programs in English, but for example, Farsi, Arabic, Urdu, Turkish. And I think most importantly is that you're contributing to a global reach, inshallah. So just to remind you very briefly before I welcome our next guest, in terms of supporting the channel's operations, there are 3 things you can do. They're on the screen, inshallah, now. You can see now. And the channel's operations, there we go. Thank you, AV team, perfectly done. So, first and foremost, for £500, you can sponsor a live feed from the Holy Shrine in Karbala. Secondly, package 2 is for £1,000. You get to sponsor a live majlis in the name of your marhumeen from the Holy Shrines of Karbala. And thirdly, package 3 for £5,000, and inshallah we'll have somebody donate that very soon. You're able to sponsor a documentary, and this is a massive sadaqah jariyah to carry on with the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt. And just back to the building, 3 points here. Number 1, the smallest entry of the night, which I'm hoping, brothers and sisters, it's probably a nice fatur that you may have in Shahr Ramadan. It's only £50, and it's for a full day's wage of a construction worker, number 1. Number 2 is the purchase of an AC unit. For those of you who have not been to Iraq, in the summer, they reach temperatures of something like 50 degrees. So that would be very, very welcome by the team, I'm sure there. And package number 3 is for £1,000 to actually be part of a sadaqah jariyah of 2 square meters of that building, for you to be the donator of that, inshallah. So the lines are open, inshallah. I think we have some callers joining very soon. Before we do welcome our next caller, I'm very, very honored. Again, I'm an esteemed company. We had Dr. Sayyid Ammar Nakshawani. We now have my dear brother, Sayyid Ali Nawab. So first and foremost, Sayyidina, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
How are you, dear Sayyid?
Assalamu rahmatullah.
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, very well, very well.
How are you, Sayyidina?
I'm great, Habibi. I'm great. I'm recovering from the iftar that we had.
Yeah. Sayyid had a bit longer than you. Sayyid Ammar. Sayyid Ali had a bit longer.
It was also rushed.
It was
also rushed.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, said Ali needs good time for his iftar.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. I think we all do from 16-hour fast.
I know, bro. I
That's
know.
al-muhim. Sayyidina, thank you so much for joining the show. We're going to welcome a caller in very, very soon. But I think just to touch upon a personal perspective, you visited the Holy Land of Karbala many times, Sayyidina. I know that you were there very recently in the month of Safar, if I'm not mistaken. And you've done multiple programs there. You've done a number of shows there as well. Tell us a little bit about, I guess, not just the shows that you've done, but also the benefits and the value of this new studio, this new building, and what could it bring to the channel?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, I would like to thank Imam Hussein TV for this opportunity, for us to share our experiences and what we see useful in Imam Hussein TV and similar channels that do help the cause of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. As you said, I was recently in Karbala at a time where all hearts and minds of mu'mineen were looking to go to Karbala.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially in the very difficult times of the pandemic. And I see this as a special invitation by my master Imam Al-Hussein alayhi salam, that many had the wealth, had the time, had the ability to go to Karbala, but this pandemic stopped anyone. Not anyone was able to go.
Right. Right.
You had to be, Iraqi or having a special ID, special papers. So Alhamdulillah, with some difficulty, I was able to reach Karbala. And as you said, I've had many shows in Karbala. I've had live shows for the past 5 or 6 years. I've had live shows in Muharram. And recently, as you said, in Safar, I had a 10-night long or 12-night long live shows every night from the studio in Shara' Qiblat Imam Al-Hussein alayhi salam, which is leading to the shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And it's important for me as a speaker. I'm sure Sayyid Ammar will share this experience as well. For a speaker to go anywhere in the world, to go up in the pulpit, in Canada, in America, in other parts of the world, in Africa, in the Middle East, to go up the pulpit in the holy month of Muharram for 10, 12, 15 nights, and to speak about Imam Hussein, to speak about Ashura, to speak about the events of Karbala, it's one thing, and being in Karbala in the 10 nights of Muharram is another thing.
Something else. Yeah, absolutely.
I've never experienced it.
Sayyid has not.
Yeah,
But,
first 10 nights, unfortunately, I haven't experienced. It must be amazing.
It's amazing, Sayyid. It's so out of this world.
Absolutely.
Being
Sayyid
in
Ali,
Karbala, in Muharram.
Yeah, Ben Kalamek, the barakat of Imam Hussein, so really apologetic for interrupting Sayyidina.
No.
But there is a caller, actually, and this is, again, we'll come on to it in a second, but this is the whole point of the message of Imam Hussein. There's a caller that wants to take her shahada live on TV. Alhamdulillah, which is a beautiful
MashaAllah,
moment
amazing.
For the channel. And brothers and sisters, this is the whole point of Imam Hussein TV.
No doubt.
So
no doubt.
inshallah, we'll welcome our caller. Assalamu alaikum, sister. Can you hear me?
Alaikum salam. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Hello, sister. Sorry, tell us your name. I didn't quite catch it.
My name is Shireen.
Ahlan, sister Shireen. Inshallah, you're well.
Yes, alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah,
Thank you very much.
what's a beautiful day. Congratulations. And it is genuinely our honor, and my honor specifically, to be facilitating such a show where we're going to welcome another person to the fold of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So can I pass to you,
How did she convert?
Sayyid
Thank
Ammar?
you.
How did
Thank
you
you so
convert?
much.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, Sister Serene, just maybe for the benefit of the brothers and sisters, what's causing you to convert? How did you come across the religion, and kind of tell us a bit about your story?
So I was born into Sunni Islam.
Okay.
At the age of 15, that was about 15 years ago, I came across the stories of Imam Hussein. And after doing plenty of research and gravitating towards Shia Islam, I started attending majalis in Manchester and London and Woking. My family are very receptive towards Shia Islam, alhamdulillah. I'm very lucky in that sense.
Alhamdulillah.
But, you know, they do commemorate Karbala and the history of Shia Islam and Islam in general. But they're still very firm Sunnis. Finally, at the age of 30 now, I've decided that the time has come, and alhamdulillah, with the help of a few other friends, they've given me the courage to just take the step, and I'm totally ready now, and this is happening.
MashaAllah, what a beautiful story, and inshallah you'll always be under the protection of the Ahlul Bayt, inshallah, for this courageous step, sister.
Inshallah.
Sayyid Ali, Sayyid Ammar, please, if we can
Go
do
ahead,
that.
Sayyid. No.
Go ahead,
Please.
please.
Go ahead. Further,
Can I
Sayyid.
just say something first?
Of course.
Before, just really quickly. So obviously, being at home at the moment, you know, with us not being able to leave and mix with other people, I have been solely dependent upon YouTube and the teachings of course, Sayyid Ammar and other teachers, and especially this TV channel as well, which has brought me so much knowledge and information.
Alhamdulillah.
It's just so valuable, and in
Alhamdulillah.
the world, I never actually thought that I would call. But I obviously saw the number there. I screenshot it and made the phone call, and they offered to take Shahada live on air.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. We're very glad you have called, sister. The next voice you'll hear will be Dr. Sayyid Ammar al-Nakshawani, who I'm sure you know from the various programs on Imam Hussein TV. So inshallah, if you kind of follow the instructions, I guess, Sayyidina, this is new to me, so I'll leave it to you.
Yes, well, congratulations. Salaam alaikum, Shireen. Can she hear me?
I think she can.
Alaikum salam. Yes, I can hear you.
Congratulations. You know, I always am in awe at those who come towards the path of the Ahl al-Bayt as represented within the Shia school. I know there are other schools in Islam which revere the family of the Prophet as well, and I don't want to make it sound like we're coming from one religion to another. The reality is that we have a lot of viewers on Imam Hussein TV who are not Shia. I had a message today from a viewer who's not Shia, but she loves the shows. Amazing. And at the end of the day, some people who watch us, like the sister's parents, they may not be Shia, but they have that love for Ahl al-Bayt, alayhim salam, as can clearly be seen in the way that their daughter grew up with an open mind and already a basis which was wonderful. So we don't always want to group everybody who's not Shia as if they don't know about Ahl al-Bayt and so on, but this is our representation. This takes me back many years to when Al-Haraka Al-Haydariyya, when we used to, you remember back in the day when we used to have a conversion every week. There was one week when me and Said Ali were together. So sister, I won't take too much of your time. I think, you know, the first one is really, the first couple of lines are lines you already utter. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. So if you wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah.
Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah.
And then we just add on Sayyidina.
Wa ashhadu anna Aliyan waliyullah.
Sorry, can you repeat that again from the beginning?
وأشهد أن عليا ولي الله.
وأشهد أن
عليا ولي الله.
ولي الله.
صلى على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على
محمد وآل محمد.
What a beautiful,
what an emotional time.
Sister Shireen, may God bless you. We're really proud of you.
Absolutely.
Send my regards, you know, to your family as well.
Definitely. A small token of our love for the lovers of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. This is going to be a bit difficult for me to lift alone. For Sayyidina, I'm going to ask for a bit of help.
Yes.
Inshallah, Sister Shireen, this was the flag we discussed. Maybe I'll give it to Sayyid Ali alongside you. And this is the flag, inshallah, that will be sent directly to you. A flag from Karbala with the inscription Ya Hussein on it. So inshallah, that will be yours. And please, sister, keep us in your du'as, inshallah, and God bless you. And inshallah, you're always going to be an avid supporter and follower of Imam Hussein TV. And this is a special gift from Imam Hussein, inshallah.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah, sister. Congratulations. MashaAllah. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. This calls for a baklawa.
I was just about to say.
It should be Yasser's baklawa corner.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, sister, you're not going to have any of the baklawa, but the baklawa, we would like some if you don't mind.
Yeah. The baklawa won't be sent in the post.
Yasser, our presenter on the quiz show, we've given him a new segment called the baklawa corner.
Yes. Beautiful.
Thank you. God bless you. God bless.
So, while we partake in some
diabetes central,
from future baklawa maker, our dear brother Yasser, Rahmallah wadak. Am I going to take one as well? Why not? I'm going to have to dirty the table, but inshallah, Imam Hussein TV will forgive me. Sayyidina, that for me is what. I'm going to ask a long question.
Make sure that Ali answers quickly because half the baklawa is in his mouth right now.
I'm going to take my time.
Please, as soon as possible.
I'm going to take my time. Sayyidina, but that for me is really what a channel like this is about. You know, from my side, I don't have maybe as much exposure as others towards this channel. But it's things like this that really get me. And the fact that you've got someone there as an example who was open to Imam Hussein, but the channel and the blessings of the channel and the friends, etc., have caused her to call in. And inshallah, that's a moment that she'll never forget now as an example. And there, as you said, saying that there are countless number of other reverts or converts or people who were already Shia, for example, or maybe were misguided, that have come back into the fold and the love of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So
I guess, Sayyid Ali, a question for you. Why is it so important to keep the message of Imam Hussein alive through a TV channel like Imam Hussein TV?
As I was explaining before, the sister called,
Aye.
why Imam Hussein TV has made a dedication to bring live images from Karbala into the living rooms of our brothers and sisters wherever they are. Because as you said, similar to the sister, there are many individuals who are getting introduced to the message of Imam Al-Hussein alayhi salam, and they hear about Imam Al-Hussein alayhi salam, and they hear about how Imam Al-Hussein is like the presence of Rasulullah, Husaynun minni wa ana min Hussein, the prophet that brought peace and mercy and livelihood to the lives of people in Arabia. Similar, Imam Hussein alayhi salam and his message and his sacrifice is like the paradigm of people seeking peace and justice in this day and age. So for this sister to be able to switch on Imam Hussein TV and watch live images from Karbala, and at the same time hear Sayyid Ammar Nakshawani or myself or other individuals coming to them live from Karbala, from the studios of Bain al-Haramain.
Beautiful.
Yani you're sitting there in the middle of Bain al-Haramain, and you're speaking to them about the sacrifice of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, about what Imam Hussein courageously, him, his sons, his family and his companions had to go through on the plains of Karbala, and you're making them feel and live that battle and that sacrifice on the day of Ashura.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sayyid, anything to add?
No, I think Said Ali Nawab is one of the most undervalued people we have, not just in our communities, but also on Imam Hussein TV. Because while many of us have our commitments in London, in the Western world, he's one of these people who will take it upon himself to go to Karbala for a few weeks, if not a few months, and try and let people feel what is happening on the ground in Karbala in the good times and the bad times. Because there are difficult moments over there for the people, and there are better moments over there. I think a second point we have to make clear is that on Imam Hussein TV, our ultimate goal is to follow the example of Imam Al-Hussein alayhi salam, even if we may have differences among some of each other's opinions.
Beautiful point.
Because I know that there are certain people who assume that anybody who comes on Imam Hussein TV, anyone who gives a lecture on Imam Hussein TV, that means all of these people are all in agreement with each other about every aspect of the religion of Islam or how it should be portrayed. Reality is that we've made one thing clear, that we all agree that Imam Al-Hussein alayhi salam is the ultimate goal for all of us in reaching the teachings of his grandfather Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And that's why you may have a football team and it may have different personalities, some of which may not even talk to each other. But when they're on that pitch, we've got to get the job done. And that's what I found over here. That you have people of different ilks, different backgrounds, but each one of them bleeds Imam Al-Hussein alayhi salam and the message of Imam Al-Hussein alayhi salam. And of course tonight we remember his elder brother.
Absolutely.
You know, who we should never forget, because, you know, at the end of the day, Imam Al-Hussein alayhi salam looks to his elder brother as his leader, as his mentor, as his guide. Emotionally, he's broken when his brother leaves this world. You know, they went through so many trials together. So these are the personalities who we want to make sure that maybe if our mosques didn't necessarily talk about as much as they could have, here's another platform to discuss.
Definitely. And a platform, as the Sada beautifully put, a platform that is open to all, a platform that is available for not just brothers or sisters or youngers or elders, but people who are not in the fold of Shia Islam entirely. So yeah, I would recommend for all the brothers and sisters at home right now, for that moment you just witnessed, and exactly what Sayyid Ali and Sayyid Ammar so beautifully and eloquently put, it's a massive, massive opportunity. So please don't hold back. We need your support, inshallah. We have a caller as well, Sayyid Ali, Sayyid Ammar, who you'll be very familiar with. Our dear friend, Brother Sadiq Damani.
MashaAllah, yes, Brother Sadiq.
If I'm not mistaken, was one of the first people to stream live in the channel. I think it was back in 2009, and it was the holy month of Muharram.
Yes.
And he was in Karbala. So, Sadiq, are you online?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaykum as-salam
Assalamu
wa rahmatullah.
wa barakatuh.
Dear brother
How's it
Sadiq,
going, everyone?
alhamdulillah, how are you?
Alhamdulillah. Salam to Sayyid, salam to Shaykh as well. Inshallah, you're both well.
Habibi, God bless. Thank you. God bless you.
Allah yakhallik. Brother Sadiq, you were going to briefly, maybe a couple of minutes, just tell us a little bit about, I guess, your experience, but also a bit of the history about the first time you streamed for Imam Hussein TV. Please tell us some more.
Yeah, for sure. Alhamdulillah, it was back in, I think, 2013.
Okay.
Just a bit after the one you mentioned.
Okay.
We were out there in Arba'een.
Mm.
And, I mean, surreal experience, I think, for those of us who have been. And it was the first time we were actually able to we were setting up the channel, and it was the first time we were streaming, I believe, in English, live kind of documentary from the streets in Karbala as to what happened in Arba'een. And at that time, a lot of people hadn't yet gone. It was kind of in the peak where a lot of people started to go, but people were kind of like, not yet. 2014, 15, 16, it got busier. And it was surreal, you know, to be able to share what's going on the ground, how busy it gets, the different mawaqib, you know, what Bain al-Haramain is like, what the whole atmosphere and vibe is like was surreal. And I just remember a lot of those clips, even till today, we still get messages saying, you know, wow, we didn't realize this is what it's like to be on the ground in Arba'een, you know, in Karbala during Arba'een.
What a blessing, what a blessing.
We just hope we get to go one day. And to see where the channel's got today, it's incredible, it's surreal. And there's a lot of hard work, as you all see, with the guys behind the scenes and the sisters behind the scenes who, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to khidmah of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, these guys are in the creme de la creme. In terms of their effort, passion, you know, fatigue isn't a thing when the word Ahlul Bayt comes to their mind and getting the end.
Absolutely.
Fatigue isn't a word for them. So,
yeah, no,
it's been a crazy and amazing journey.
Yeah, absolutely. It's inspirational. It's inspirational. Brother Sadiq, before you go, maybe in sentence, in one summary for any of the brothers or sisters at home who can resonate with your words and have seen the scenes of Arba'een and Karbala and kind of what you were involved in. How would you kind of implore people, and why would you implore people to donate? Maybe one sentence to wrap up.
Fundamentally, all of us want to answer the call of our fitrah, which is to get closer to our Creator. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the perfect mark schemes in the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam and how to excel in this life. And when you get to serve in the name of those who are the very mark schemes, who are the best of creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to share their stories, to share their inspiration, there's no better people that you can serve. And by serving them, you only end up with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's a one-way ticket, and it's a winning ticket, so you may as well get on the train.
Ahsant. Congratulations for first and foremost, for so beautifully putting that last statement. Also, congratulations to Watford FC, who have received promotion as well, which I know you're very happy with. And inshallah, we ask Allah to,
coming back to beat Liverpool.
Inshallah.
Baba, leave Liverpool alone. For the love of God. Klopp's mom died. Alisson's dad died. Van Dijk.
His knee died. His knee died.
This one's ankle died. This happened. Baba, leave Liverpool alone for just 9 months.
Oh wow. Habibi Sadiq, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your call. Really appreciate it. And inshallah, we pray we see you soon.
Inshallah.
Allah yakhallik. Ma'as-salama. Sayyid Ali, just going back to maybe our discussion as well. A question that I wanted to ask, and this is slightly off script, so apologies to the brothers in the team that have supported me today. But in a time where media typically is associated with corruption and is associated with fasad, we know that typically you can pick up any telephone, iPad, laptop, TV, and see things that will draw you away from the message of Islam, right? No doubt that's the case, and
yes,
I think we can be naive about it, but as we know from such programs like Tafsir in the Quran, it's better to tackle these issues head on, Sayyidina, right?
1000%.
So the question is, Sayyidina, why is it so important in a stage where we won't necessarily, in my life for example, I won't necessarily be going out in the streets of London and propagating the message of Imam Hussein. I won't be giving tabligh, as we call it, for example, right? Why is it so important to invest into a channel that is purely Islamic, a channel that is purely Ithna Ashri, a channel that purely propagates the message of Imam Hussein?
I see Sayyid Ammar looking at me and smiling. Here I highlight the fact that Sayyid Ammar, may Allah bless him, if I can take Sayyid Ammar's tafsir shows as an example,
Yeah.
I can see individuals, I can imagine youth, male and female, sitting on the other side of the TV screen, sitting down and listening and actually learning sciences, and their questions being answered by a speaker, by a scholar who they will normally not have access to ask their questions. And to be able to sit down and listen to a specific tafsir or a specific topic that normally if they go to a center, they will never be able to see that mu'ammam or that person on top of the pulpit having the courage to speak and bring up. Honestly speaking, I would never see myself sitting on top of a pulpit speaking about some of the topics that Sayyid Ammar is discussing.
That's why you
And-
look younger than me.
No, this is your beauty.
There's about
saying.
20 years between you as well, Sayyid, though, but apart from that, no? Is there?
20 years?
20 years.
So this
This,
is
I don't know which angle you're saying that from, whether that's good for me or good for him.
so
I'll leave it
this
open,
is
I'll leave it
why Imam Hussein TV is currently one, if not the leading satellite channel for the youth of the West. As
Yeah,
the sister moments ago clearly explained that at a time where all the centers and all the mosques, the doors were closed and we weren't able to gain access to the lectures, Imam Hussein TV through YouTube, through other platforms, was the only access that I had to be able to receive the truth and the true message of Ahlul Bayt, and then conclusively, and then at the end I made the decision to do my shahada and join, call in
MashaAllah.
and join Imam Al-Hussein TV and join Ahlul Bayt on the ark of salvation, who is Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So what other do we need? Are we looking for? Why some of the youth that we know, me and Sayyid Ammar and you yourself know, that during the year, even in Muharram or Ramadan, they do not enter the centers. They do not even get across to enter the centers. But these shows and these programs are the only way they are able to stay connected with the message of Islam and Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam.
It's a fantastic point. Because you look at the topics that I can only say on a personal level that I've chosen. I do sometimes wish that the centers of Islamic learning and the highest of personalities would give lectures on TV about these topics. And you don't get that many times, you know. So we try and do it so that any misconceptions about the religion, any points which are being used to attack the religion, let's face them head on.
Absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. Just in Sayyid Ammar, if you wouldn't mind, another question as well. We hear a lot about propagation and tabligh. Is there any Islamic narrations, any ayat that indicate that this is something that we have to do, or is there istihbab? Is it something that is wajib for us when it comes to actually propagating the messages? Maybe just very quickly before our next caller.
Yeah, you know, there's always these discussions that you were the best of nations because you enjoined the good and you forbid the evil. This whole idea of the best of ummahs, وخير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف تنهون عن المنكر. Imam Al-Hussein alayhi salam heads to Karbala and he makes it clear that I've not come out for fame or for power or for corruption, but rather I've come out to ensure that we enjoin the good and forbid the evil. And that we live by the teachings of my grandfather and my father, Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Part of the tabligh that we're doing is trying to enjoin that which is good. You know, there's beautiful things mentioned about, listen, let's enjoin, as we had in the first discussions this month about fasting, for example. Enjoining it, trying to maybe look at a different angle of fasting from what's normally discussed. Said Ali, Sheikh Ali, you know, others on the channel who try their hardest to maybe look at different angles of enjoining that which is good. But also, if there are certain things which are being a bit problematic in our communities, not forbidding directly, but trying to talk about the effects of these things, you know. So, if I was to look at those ayahs and ayahs where it says that, you know, upon us is only to make sure that we give the message. You know, after that, the guidance comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shirin didn't become a follower of Ahlul Bayt because of our lectures. We only put them there. Imam Hussein TV provided a platform for them to be there. YouTube might get a cut of Thawab as well. They got the platform there for us. And here's someone, because you know what happens in this world. You look for something online, it gives you 10 other options on the same topic. I remember I had a lecture last Muharram and someone said to me, someone wrote in, he was Christian, he wrote to us. He said, I just didn't like Islam at all. When I watched your analysis of this lecture, I couldn't believe the way Islam examines this topic. And he goes, hands up to you. Don't become Muslim or anything.
Right.
I don't care if someone becomes Muslim or not, because ultimately guidance comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But what I would be disappointed with is if we did not build on the platform that would help people who face Islamophobic comments, that would help people who face a crisis with their faith.
Right.
That is ultimately when the Quran comes. The Quran is telling the Prophet himself, you are a warner, but you're certainly not a compeller. You can't come and saytar an nas, or you're not a musaytar who's going to come and compel people, for there is no compulsion in religion. But disappointing would be for the people had there not been someone who reminded them, had there not been a platform. And so when you're talking about tabligh, tabligh can work in both ways, because if your enemy's tabligh is stronger than yours, you could lose a whole generation.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And so actually,
And
this is
if I could just mention a point, and attaching what Sayyid Ammar is saying about the importance of tabligh with the events of Karbala. Imam Hussein alayhi salam started something.
Right.
The revival of Islam.
Right.
The revival of the fact that I want people to come back to the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which holds their freedom and their rights. The lady Zainab alayhi salam, before leaving Karbala, said to Imam Zain al-Abidin, there will be a group of people, a nation, that will come later on in time, that will erect a flag in this place, in this location, and will continue spreading the message of your father, Sayyid al-Shuhada. So, propagating the message of Ahlul Bayt is one thing, and continuing the line of the message of Lady Zainab alayhi salam, who went through all the hardships, is another thing. So what we, and Imam Hussein TV, and the people behind the cameras and in the studios in Karbala and in other places are doing, are dedicating not only a portion of their lives, dedicating the whole of their lives. I know individuals that Muharram and Safar, they do not even go back to their homes as a result of the tight schedules of the bookings of the programs and the studios and the lecturers from London, from Canada, from America. You know, they have live shows and live streams. So if we don't do this now, my 14-year-old, your daughter at home, in 5, 10, 15 years to come,
it's a slippery slope.
Where is she going to go to reach the correct message of Imam Al-Hussein and Sayyid al-Shuhada, and drop a tear for the sorrows and the trials and tribulations of Ahlul Bayt?
That's a wonderful point.
I've been told, by the way, we have another caller before we welcome our last guest, Brother Qasim, if I'm not mistaken. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Hello, dear brother Qasim. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you, dear brother? Are you well?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. It's Sajjad Jaffer, brother Sajjad Jaffer from Peterborough.
Oh, my apologies. I was told on the AV your name is Qasim. Apologies, brother Sajjad.
No, Qasim is he works at the Hussein TV. He told me to ring in.
Okay.
About giving, subject about giving, no? That's all.
That's it. If I'm not mistaken as well, I've been told that brother Sajjad is a friend of yours, Sayyid Ammar, if I'm not mistaken.
Wallah, Peterborough, all my friends. You know, I had just...
He's my friend, but he's a Liverpool supporter. I'm a Man United supporter.
Allahumma salli ala...
But we're willing to donate if he wears a Man United t-shirt.
Well, I think we might be able to make that possible, but what type of...
If you donate the lighter... you donate the lighter... and inshallah...
Inshallah, you know, I was asked to talk about giving.
Right.
And what it is that what I've learned in my life and reading the Quran and understanding it in English is that to keep Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pleased with us is to give to the poor, give to the needy, no? And And what it is that you have to be content before you give, I think. And,
Right.
and for me, that I've done my duty in this dunya, but now I have to I have to build a house for me in Akhirah to keep Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pleased with me.
No doubt.
And that's what I do because I feel sorry for what's happening around the world. So I give whatever is asked for me to give. And I think that it doesn't matter how much you give, you're giving and you're helping somebody. Then that's my philosophy, and to keep Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pleased with me.
Well, we thank Brother Sajjad for his £100,000.
God bless you, Brother Sajjad.
Yeah.
Said Ammar has confirmed that you're going to donate £100,000 to the channel.
100,000?
Yeah.
I better start work. No, inshallah. Inshallah, yeah?
Inshallah. Inshallah, Allah. Brother Sajjad, we pray that Allah gives you more, so you're able to, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Will Sayyid Ammar match me with 100?
No doubt.
Why not? Why not? If you give, I'll match. I don't mind.
Ya Hussein. Then, Brother Sajjad, thank you so much. I'm going to pass you to the back team, inshallah. They'll take your donation.
God bless you.
Thank you so much for the call, and inshallah we ask for your du'as.
Thank you, alhamdulillah. Thank you, you're doing a great
Allah
job.
Thank you very much, brother. Our honor and our pleasure. Brothers and sisters, we're going to have literally a 60 to 120 second break for the maths astute among you. That's a minute or 2 minute break, inshallah. And we're going to be back very shortly with our third and final guest of the night. We ask for your du'as and we'll see you very shortly.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh, my dear brothers and sisters, my dear viewers of Imam Hussein TV, wherever you may be, and I bid you the best greetings from the holiest of lands, the holy land of Karbala. We are here on the highest point on the new Imam Hussein TV building, and we're asking for one thing, and that is you put your mark here on this channel. Keep pushing and donating towards this channel. My dear brothers and sisters, an 11-story building next to the haram of Imam Al-Hussein alayhi salam does not come for free, and it does not come cheap. If you want this beautiful view, we have taken many of you up here. We've taken many of you up to our studios. We've shown you around the studios. We've allowed you to take pictures. And why? Because this is your channel. You've paid for this. And we're here, inshallah, asking you for a final push so that we can continue thriving, continue hosting shows, continue to bring you Karbala live. You saw from the videos that there are many aspects of this building that have not been finished yet, that haven't had that final finesse yet. And we're calling upon you, the lovers of Imam Al-Hussein alayhi salam, the loyal ones to Zainab alayhi salam, the loyal ones like Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas alayhi salam, to donate towards this channel, donate towards the building, so that inshallah, with the barakat of your dua and with the barakat of your money and donations, we can continue to finish this building. We will bring you live content from Karbala, and this building, as you always remember, is yours. Imam Hussein TV, your gateway to Karbala.
My dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to this special once in a lifetime opportunity where we're asking for support for not only the channel of Imam Hussein TV, but the amazing building that they're building in Karbala al-Muqaddasa. I am absolutely honored to welcome our third and final guest for the night, a dear friend of mine, the one and only Mullah Ali Fadl. Assalamu alaikum, Mullah.
Assalamu wa rahmatullah. Hello, how you doing?
How are you, Habibi?
I'm alright, bro.
Allah yatqabbal
Look, you're tired, Allah yasa'adik.
So basically, you missed the beginning of the show.
Oh, okay.
But we've had stages.
Yeah.
Sayyid Ammar was the first to sit down, and he had the majlis before Fatur.
Allah yasa'adik.
So he was. Then I came straight after Fatur, he sat down. Then Sayyid Ali, the only sprightly, bright-eyed,
I'm chilling right now.
Hair is freshly combed,
I'm absolutely
clean
chilling today.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Habib Mullah, thank you so much for joining us. I know that you're going to be blessing us with your beautiful voice very soon, but before we do that, I know that you've also been involved in many fundraisers. I know that you've been involved in donations and charity fundraising and gala dinners all over the world, from literally Australia to Canada to Tanzania to exotic parts of the UK, such as Peterborough and Birmingham.
The holiday destinations.
All the holiday destinations. Well, so I'd like to get your take on very quickly, Mullah, and maybe not to drag on with it, but I'd love to get your take on why charity and donating is so important, but in particular for this initiative, the initiative of Imam Hussein TV.
So, in terms of the religious side, I'm sure Sayyid Ammar and Sayyid Ali covered that very well in terms of hadiths and the importance from that perspective. I'd like to give just literally 30 seconds to a minute about my personal experiences, specifically with this channel. Behind the scenes, literally behind the scenes, before I was coming on, I could see the genuine care in their faces. You know, when some people are fundraising, it's just like, yalla, 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 like as much money as you can. It's just like, let's just milk as much as we can for the initiative that they're fundraising for. However, I could genuinely see, not just today, but the previous times that I've been on the show, the absolute care that they put into their work, the absolute care that they put into the project, be it the building, be it the shows, be it the documentaries, be it the live, be it the Q&As, whatever it is they do, because growing up with these guys, and I'm sure Sayyid Ammar as well, has seen them grow up. I've lived with the people that work for this channel. I've seen them grow up. And when I say I've seen, for example, one of them, I probably doesn't like me mentioning his name, but Sayyid Murtada, right? Sayyid Murtada, I've seen him from this tall, running around Rasul A'zam, right? And the Hussein.
Now he's just running around Imam Hussein.
He's still running around.
He's still running around. Yeah.
So I've seen this guy and many other people down there. I've seen them grow up loving Imam Al-Hussein and wanting to give back. But their hands are tied.
Right.
Their hands are absolute tied because...
How do we untie them, Mullah?
The generous donations from the viewers. Because if they are able to receive just a bit more funding for this project, the quality will be a bit better. If they're able to receive a bit more funding about this place, for example, the studio, I'm pretty sure it's been mentioned before. The studio itself, you have to use 3 different corners for 5 different shows. Ideally, if they had a building or if they had a place they can produce better shows, their love and their genuine care would show. Right? Number 1. Number 2, from a personal perspective, my kids, they don't really have a channel or a broadcasting something online. All it is just stuck to the phone on Cocomelon.
Right.
Then you know what Cocomelon is. Yeah. Cocomelon. Then and many other different cartoons like that.
Cocomelon could be absolutely anything. It just depends what time of night we're talking about.
Cocomelon is the second most viewed YouTube
Isn't that
account.
like a Savako flavor of shisha or something?
I hope.
Cocomelon.
I think Mullah Ali's got a great point, by the way, which is the fact that this is something that is not just for our generation now, but it's for future generations.
For the viewers out there who want to give importance to their kids, what better than pledging however small that they can to the channel in order for them to be able to start creating programs to cater for their kids and for their future.
Mullah Ali, we've heard as well that due to the generous donations that we've received tonight, inshallah, you're going to bless us with a few verses of poetry, inshallah.
يلا مو
منو؟ خبلاني. Forget about it. طبعا in the beginning.
But you styled it well.
Who?
Due to the generous donations, we're going to allow you to read.
But by the way, I didn't understand how...
That's been the story of my Shahar Ramadan.
Ammar said, when they offered him this, he said, I don't want it, don't worry, it's fine, just give it to Haida. And so this has been stuck in my ear the whole time.
You know, I think this should be a device for removing earwax. That's its only use at the moment. That's why we need a donation. So even those things which they stick in our ears, which make us look really professional, I can't even hear a word they're saying.
Fantastic. So Mullah, I think you are going to bless us, inshallah, with a bit of beautiful poetry, inshallah. So bismillah.
Words by Tahir.
Ahsant. Which Tahir? Tahir Adil. Ahsant.
Words by Tahir. I actually was skimming through Instagram, found a poem that he wrote. And the names of Imam Hasan alayhi salam, but 12 names he mentioned.
Beautiful.
Now I don't know if I've got time to go through all the 12, but I put in a bit of a tune.
Right.
Do
you want to choose your top 4?
Top 4?
Yeah.
زين. السبط. السيد. سيد شباب أهل الجنة. التقي. شبر. البر. الزاهد. الأمير. الأمين. النقي. المجتبى. الحسن. صلى الله عليه وسلم. زين. So I was dending with myself. I'm kind of like half forgotten the tune, but half gonna make it up on the spot, just for the benefit of the.
There's no better performance.
That's what our whole show's been about.
One for each of the Prophet's eyes, two buds unfolding beneath his sky, one for each of the Prophet's eyes. Two buds unfolding beneath his sky, the grandson, the spring after a long winter, and the tree is now green as his dome. As-Sayyid, As-Sayyid, As-Sayyid. When two lights acts as a source, you form two young shadows, and he was poetry, his brother was prose. He was poetry, his brother was prose, purifying the air like the Prophet's scented clothes. He was musk and his brother was oud. For every person that saw them was reminded of Mahmud. For every person that saw them was reminded of Mahmud. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa Hassan.
There is obviously plenty more.
There is more, and I'm looking forward to hearing it in a different setting, inshallah, because that was gorgeous. Tomorrow, Sayyidina, we're going to wrap up with you, if you don't mind, and maybe a final thought, a final word about the channel, about the show.
I've had about like 7 final thoughts tonight.
But this is the final of the final.
Is this the final thought?
This is the final, but you're not allowed to bring the baklawa involved, and we talk too much about baklawa. This is the final thought, and also say the final push. For the audience that are listening to us now, this is the last time they're going to see the number.
I could read it like a book. I knew that was another one as well.
We know that a lot of the people at home have marhumeen. We know that a lot of the people have members of their family who were dear to them. What could this mean, Sayyidina, if they invest in Imam Hussein TV in the name of their marhumeen?
You know, I think of the people who passed away recently in our communities. And it's just amazing how many of them left one sort of legacy or another in terms of the teachings of Ahlul Bayt. Be they scholars or non-scholars. Like today we lost Al-Hajj Sa'dun al-Zubaydi. I don't know if you remember Abu Huda. Yeah, Abu Huda was a wonderful man, and you know, he passed away today. We lost in the Haidari Islamic Center Al-Hajj Yunus Sheikh. You know, the Sheikh family. A few of them have come with a ziyarah before their grandfather passed away. And it just goes to show you that, you know what, this life is just too short. You know, leave a legacy before you go. And you may look at the screen and it may say, you know, £350 for an AC unit. But if you pass away, may Allah grant everyone long lives, you pass away very soon, that AC unit helps serve many, may help serve millions. You've left something behind. Take advantage of the knowledge that comes with those who have passed away. You know, those who've passed away, you look at their lives, now take advantage of understanding that this life is too short. But now that they've left the world, they left the world with a brilliant legacy. Now look where we've remembered them.
Yeah.
We remembered them on Imam Hussein TV. They weren't remembered somewhere else. They were remembered here.
Imam Hasan,
you know, and I think that, inshallah, is something that we want to take advantage of. The listeners can take advantage of. They're the most generous people you'll find. Believe you me. It's one thing us sitting here and asking for donations.
Yeah.
I think it's another thing donating. That's a different level of spirituality, donating.
No doubt.
Trust me, I've seen it in my own life. You know, you're always asked to ask people to donate, but when you're asked to donate, you come up with 1,000 excuses. So they're already on a very high level of spirituality. Shahr Ramadan, Imam Al-Sadiq alayhi salam, there's a wonderful hadith in the Wasa'il where he says that when a person gives charity in the holy month of Ramadan, it wards off 70 calamities. I didn't even know 70 exist, by the way, because imagine the ones that we do count are already a lot. Then he mentioned 70.
Wow.
In the holy month of Ramadan, whoever gives charity wards off 70 calamities. Sometimes people say to me, I don't know what's wrong with me. I feel tired. I don't want to talk to people anymore. I don't want to go out with anyone. I don't want to see anyone. Maybe, just maybe, that little bit of charity you give wards off these calamities that may be enveloping
Especially in this
you.
climate, Sayyidina.
Inshallah.
Especially in this climate. Sayyidina, thank you. Beautiful.
Is that the final thought?
Beautiful.
Was that a final
I
thought?
really wanted to add something to
Final
this.
thought.
I'll actually ask him.
Mullah Ali?
Oh, is it?
Hi, look, I'm taking it out to let you know. Add it. That's it. So you can't tell me you listen to the guys that told you, add it. This is from me. Fadlan.
Lala, I was going to saying it also benefits the people that passed away in in
Of course.
the hereafter,
Of course,
right?
yeah. Put in their name.
Sadaqah jariyah, right?
No, but put that in their name.
Yeah.
Because there is nothing more beneficial. Salat al-Wahsha does not come near sadaqah after someone's died.
Wow, really?
People straight away say, can you pray Salat al-Wahsha?
That's brilliant.
Even though Salat al-Wahsha should really just be prayed by the nearest kin. I don't know how it became 7,000 people in a community all pray Wahsha. But anyway, the first thing that should be done is sadaqah. There is nothing more beneficial to a person who has passed away than paying sadaqah in their name. Wow. Nothing more beneficial. This is a clear hadith. Brilliant. So now when you're going to donate something,
do it in their name.
Do it in their name. You always miss those who passed away. You're wondering, how's my granddad doing? How's my uncle doing? You give something in their name, that world of barzakh becomes completely different.
Inshallah. Beautiful point to end on.
Sorry, that was my last.
That
was the final.
That was a give and go, by the way.
Oh, is it?
So you did, and then.
Oh, okay. Did I finish? Or did they say? Say
that. Ammar.
Club we support. He's not finishing anything at the moment.
Aye. So yeah, I've been told, by the way, as a side note, there were so many callers coming in that the show was extended for us slightly. So now we're fitting in the schedule, Khataya. So they said, can you recite one more of the names, please, just to finish with?
I thought they said it's final.
Well, that's the final thought. This is the final.
Side note.
This is
the final side note.
Annotation.
This is the final appreciation of your voice.
This is the final bibliography.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the final bibliography.
Right, so appendix. One more of the names, that would be lovely.
Appendix?
Appendix, that thing you take out in the hospital.
Yeah. Footnote.
Yeah. There's one actually really liked.
You got a couple of minutes.
I know.
Well, you take your time, maybe. I haven't had many programs. I'm going to kick back. I love you all at home, by the way, but I'm going to knock out before about 10 minutes.
Here we go. Ziem. Shubbar.
Echo, please, echo.
For me?
Of course.
I can't hear it.
You can't hear it, I can.
Okay. Shubbar.
Allah.
For even his name is a prophecy, the sons of Harun named. For even his name is a prophecy, the sons of Harun named. Before Moses could split the sea, before the pharaohs would ride their chariots, before the mountains could even speak, Al-Bar the righteous, placed in the palms of his beloved, placed in the palms of his beloved, with Gabriel in attendance. How else did we expect him to grow? A seed sown in fertile land would always inherit his green. Prophets would always inherit his green. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
My dear brothers and sisters, inshallah, the lines are going to stay open. You've got all of the details in front of you now. It's an amazing opportunity to be part, as we've heard from Sayyid Ammar, our esteemed guest Sayyid Ali as well, our dear brother Mullah Ali Fadl as well. It's a massive, massive opportunity to be part of something special. You've seen it live today with Sister Shireen when she called in with that Shahada. It is something special. There is something special about this channel, and it's your opportunity in your name, in the name of your marhumin, but most importantly, to do it for Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Really appreciate all of your calls, all of your support as usual, and thank you for calling in. And for those of you who have donated, Allah yataqabbal a'malakum, and inshallah we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, to accept your deeds. Many thanks once more, Dr. Sayyid Ammar. It's been a pleasure and an honor. Sayyid Ali, who's not here, hopefully can hear me. It's been a pleasure and honor. Mullah Ali, it's always a pleasure and always an honor. And inshallah, we'll see you all soon. Ma'as-salam.
Hussein Media Group is moving to a new location. As the shrines plan to expand, we at Imam Hussein Media Group have secured and built a new building to help continue our efforts for Abba Abdullah. The 13-story building will be harboring all 5 channels at Imam Hussein Media Group, as well as space for filming studios, editing suites, server rooms, and a Husseiniyah for the locals. Imam Hussein Media Group is giving all you viewers a chance to help and be a part of this venture we are embarking on. We are allowing people to support this project by donating $700. $700 is what it cost Imam Hussein TV to build, plaster, and paint 1 square meter of the building. Your donations will forever grant you reward and help you in your akhirah. For every show and program that is made and broadcasted, you will earn a share in its thawab. So please help and donate whatever you can. Remember, you are helping pave the way for millions to Karbala and to Imam Hussein.